It's been a very Irish week in the White House, and people have asked me to react to Conor McGregor's visit, and also the JFK files have dropped. Before we look at what Conor McGregor had to say, I just wanted to talk about the JFK files very quickly. On St. Patrick's Day, Trump announced that they would be releasing the files the next day, which they did as promised. This administration is aiming to be extremely transparent, and they're doing a pretty good job with that so far. America is leading the way right now. This is going to be the way of the future, where governments will be expected to be more transparent. Thousands and thousands of pages have been released. Somebody made a pretty good summary that I'll just read out for you guys, and then if I hear any updates, I'll share them with you as time goes on. Basically, what people are concluding is that the CIA orchestrated the entire assassination with links to Mossad and Israel, which the CIA requested the mentions of Israel intelligence be removed, be redacted. And there are a lot of people who have theories around Israel's involvement in different events in US history. So I think for many people that was like a kind of confirmation. This person is also questioning if there were ties to the Rothschild family, saying that the CIA was working from Rothschild's Paris home. CIA agent Gary Underhill was murdered after revealing that JFK assassination was a CIA operation. JFK Jr. called Joe Biden a traitor in 1994 in a letter. Biden was a senator at the time. That's juicy. And the person concluded, so all conspiracy theories came true finally. Then this person said, Israel ordered JFK to be assassinated. The JFK files confirmed that there was a secret intelligence link between the CIA and Israeli intelligence that was overseen by James Angleton, the CIA counterintelligence chief. But I'm still kind of just looking through the files myself, observing what everybody else is saying and waiting to come to a final conclusion. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think, what your interpretation of it all is. Okay, so now let's talk about Conor McGregor at the White House. Conor McGregor is not a popular figure in Ireland. Over the years, his reputation has gone down in Ireland because he had a lot of run-ins with people. There was a situation where he punched someone in a pub. He was sued for rape. I believe that he denies it to this day, but he was successfully sued in civil court. He's just had a lot of run-ins with people, and generally he's not very popular in Ireland now. Last week when Trump met with the Taoiseach, he was kind of put on the spot at one point, and someone said, who's your favourite Irish person? You could see no one really came to his mind, and after a moment he says, oh, I like that guy, that fighter guy with the tattoos. And someone says his name's Conor McGregor. Now, what I personally think happened was that Conor McGregor jumped on the opportunity. Maybe his PR guy said, hey, this is a good opportunity. Let's get you to meet Trump. And next thing you know, Conor McGregor's in the White House like a fish out of water, kind of. That's my guess on what happened.
Oh, hey!
Hey, Conor, first of all, did you get into time with President Trump? And also, I know there's some Irish immigrants in the U.S. without status. What do you think should happen to them?
The Irish immigrants?
Some recent Irish immigrants without status.
Are we taking questions?
Taking over the podium.
Ireland and America, we are siblings. We consider America our big six.
I really don't think he's been involved in politics at all. So this is like them asking him political questions and he looks like a deer in headlights.
So it's important for Ireland to have be a peaceful, happy, prosperous country for the 40 million Irish Americans to have a place to visit, to come back to their home. So we wish for our relationship with the United States to continue, and we wish to be taken care of by the big bro. You know, the United States should look after its little bro.
Obviously, Irish people feel a connection with America because of our history with America and because we have shared ancestry. That being said, Ireland does not need your USAID money. We didn't need that €70,000 for a DEI musical, and we didn't need that money for concern to help immigrants come into Ireland. Just to be clear, I'm with MAGA. Keep it for the American taxpayers.
What about, there's some trade disputes between the US and the EU, and how do you think?
We wish exemption.
We actually have some stuff that we...
I mean, he's already kind of mastering the politician kind of avoiding question. Sorry, can't answer. I've got something in my throat.
I will say, Conor is here to meet with the president. He'll be meeting with him later this afternoon. We couldn't think of a better guest to have with us on St. Patrick's Day.
In all honesty, there probably were better guests that could have represented Ireland on the day. I mean, I was available. I could have been the spokesperson. I'm joking.
A briefing later at 1 o'clock, so we'll talk more about their meeting later. But he's going over to meet with some other administration officials. He's spending the day in Washington, D.C.
For sure.
So
I'm here to
it'll be
raise
fun.
the issues the people of Ireland face. You know, and it'll be music to the people of Ireland's ears, because never on the main stage has the issues the people of Ireland face been spoke. You know, our government has long since abandoned the voices of the people of Ireland, and it's high time that America is made aware of what is going on in Ireland. What is going on in Ireland is a travesty. Our government is the government of zero action with zero accountability. You know, our money is being spent on overseas issues that has nothing to do with the Irish people. The illegal immigration racket is running ravage on the country. There are rural towns in Ireland that have been overrun in one swoop, that have become a minority in one swoop.
So I've actually seen a lot of people very happy that he has brought this issue up. I spoke a little bit about this in a video last week, but there has literally been situations where tiny villages in Ireland, they just place hundreds of immigrants into these villages that only have very small number of people in them anyway. And just like that, those little villages are gone. That little community is gone. It's a very sad thing, because if you've ever been to a little village in Ireland, it's something special. You don't see it anywhere else in the world the way it is there. I've seen a lot of people online being like, I don't like him, but he's right, you know, or I don't like him, but I'm so glad that somebody said it. And that is what's really important here, is that somebody got to say it. The opportunities that the Trump administration is giving to EU citizens in terms of just their voices being heard is very, very meaningful to me.
Issues need to be addressed, and the 40 million Irish Americans, as I said, need to hear this, because if not, there will be no place to come home and visit. You know, Ireland is at the cusp of, you know, potentially losing its Irishness, and I'm here to raise the issue and highlight it. You know, it's also St. Patrick's Day, so a little bit of celebrations for sure, and you know, a little bit of learning and listening to Mr. President Trump, whose work ethic is inspiring, and all that does to me is highlight the lack of work on my side. So that's it. That's what I'm here for.
This top comment, dude looks like he walked into the wrong room and took over. This person says, I think Conor addressed the main issues Ireland faces, and they are the same America faces. The UK, Australia, New Zealand and Europe. Stop the cowardly genocide. I actually heard somebody referring to the analogy of the frog in water, right? Where you put a frog in a pot of water, and if the water is boiling, the frog will just jump out immediately. But if you put them into cool water and then you slowly heat the water over time until it boils, the frog will just sit there until it dies. And that is actually what the situation in Europe and the UK is looking like. You cannot just keep on introducing mass amounts of immigrants into these countries with no respect for the culture of the natives without this becoming something pretty bad, which I'm scared they may be actually trying to do. You know, we could be looking at a civil war because of what they're doing, what these leaders are doing, without asking for anybody's vote, anyone's opinion. People aren't voting, right? This person says, not a fan of McGregor, but as an Irishman living in Ireland, he was not wrong. Generally, the consensus seems to be that people don't like Conor McGregor, but they like what he's saying. And a lot of people were very, very disgusted by the Taoiseach last week dismissing the housing crisis as if it's nothing, because it's something that Irish people are really, really struggling with. Of course, political leaders in Ireland fought back against what McGregor had to say.
And some angry reaction from political leaders in Ireland tonight who've been insisting that Conor McGregor does not speak for Ireland.
That sentence in itself doesn't make sense to me. So Conor McGregor doesn't speak for Ireland. What do you mean by that? Like, what does that actually mean? Because he's an Irish person, so obviously he's speaking from his perspective. I'm Irish and I agree with what he said. There are people that I know, I'm sure there are plenty of people that he knows who agree, and there are lots of people online who agree. So what do you mean by doesn't speak for Ireland? Okay, yeah, Irish people generally don't want him to be the spokesperson for Ireland, but is he telling the truth? What percentage of Irish people agree with what he said? Well, we don't know because no one ever asked. And no one was ever given the opportunity to vote on it. It just all happened. And that's the way it's going in Europe. All of these things are just happening. And there are videos that you can find online of people expressing the troubles that they're experiencing. This lady, for example, expressed what she was experiencing. Have a look at this.
We're well able to differentiate between people fleeing from war and people just migrants. We don't want more services if that means more people. We are walking because of the measure of discontent in the town. We have a lot of young men who are not working, who have accommodation that my son certainly couldn't get any accommodation when he came back from Australia. And you begin to see through and realise they're all the same. They deliver the same thing. We're dictated by Europe anyway, and we have no sovereignty. They're pretending we have, and they're all talking about small communities and input and small people. That's all bullshit. Don't change language and make us believe that a man and a woman are the same as each other. They're not. They're complementary. But everybody who's in Ballaghaderreen at the moment, who's using up all the housing, no housing for the local people, everybody now, they're not contributing to the community in any way. And people are reasonable and good and welcoming, and this is a wonderful community, but it's been fragmented. Don't pretend that you're for the people. Just tell us the truth.
This person wrote a comment in reaction to what Conor McGregor had to say, and I just wanted to read it to you because I found it very touching. I've been silent too long, watching, waiting, biting my tongue while the country sinks further into paralysis, while the same voices say the same things, while the script repeats itself endlessly. But today, something shifted. McGregor speaking felt like a moment, not because he's perfect, not because he's the leader of anything, but because for the first time in years, someone broke the silence on a scale they can't ignore. And I can't ignore it either. There's sickness in this country, a suffocating, stifling sickness that keeps us obedient, passive, terrified of stepping out of line. The sickness that tells us to keep our heads down, to say nothing, to accept the slow motion destruction of everything we are. The sickness that has stolen our instincts, our voices, our very will to live as a people. I don't want to be part of it anymore. I don't want to be half alive, half conscious, half muzzled. I won't nod along. I won't apologise. I won't explain myself to people who have already decided that the truth is unspeakable. I won't play by rules designed to keep us defeated. I want to say what I see, what I know, what I feel in my bones without flinching, without fearing the consequences, without caring if it makes the right people uncomfortable. I want to speak like a man with nothing left to lose because that's the only kind of man they can't control. The system works because people obey. It works because people comply, because they play along, because they censor themselves before anyone else even has to. It works because we've spent decades being trained into silence. But something is breaking, something is shifting. Not all of us are afraid anymore. Not all of us will be silent. Not all of us are willing to watch this country sleepwalk to its grave. Let them panic. Let them smear. Let them do everything they can to shut this down. We are not going back to sleep. One thing that the Irish have proved historically is that they are fighters, serious fighters. I think what's been very smart and sneaky about the way that things have been done in Europe and in America as well in recent times is they did it in a way where people wouldn't notice for a long time, wouldn't wake up. But like this person said, people are waking up now. And yeah, it's a bit late, but it doesn't matter. People are waking, and once they realize what's going on, they're not going to accept it. My only fear is that in some ways it seems that European leaders have actually created a situation purposely where civil wars will take place. I don't know. So this is where himself and Trump actually met.
Nice pinstripe suit, it's one of my own. I guess you want to do it. Congratulations. I tell you what, your work ethic is inspiring. Your work rate is inspiring. Appreciate it.
Once again, it doesn't matter if you don't like Conor McGregor. What just happened is massive. Somebody got to go in there and have a meeting with Trump and tell him what it is. And yeah, Trump is busy. Trump has his own stuff going on. But I believe that the Trump administration wants to see the West doing well. I personally think that good things will come from this. Government has overreached far too far across the entire West. More and more people are waking up to that. We have to keep reminding ourselves the government is there to serve its people, not the other way around. Thanks so much again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.